Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter World Iceborne live stream. We're on the PlayStation 4. It's 5:30 a.m. in the morning for me, which means it's really close to my bedtime, so I'm probably going to fall asleep in the middle of the live stream. But I figure, you know what? We need to start getting those PlayStation streams done as well. We've done 2 on the PC, 2 on the Xbox. It's time to do 2 of them on the PlayStation. This will be the first live stream. Angel says, oh, it's PlayStation. Thank God. That means I can go to sleep. Oh my God. How's it going, Bart? Bart, how do I say your name? Bart Lomige? How do you function this early? Well, technically it's not early for me, it's late. It's almost bedtime for me. System 7.5 update for PlayStation has come. Are you done? That's right. I couldn't start the stream sooner because I had to sit here and wait for the update. All right, so as you guys know, this is chat time, which means that I'm going to be focusing much more on what you guys are talking about and having a conversation about whatever you guys want to talk about. I won't be focusing quite as much on the gameplay, which means I will play probably very terribly, as I often do, and I will help whatever you guys want help with. So it could be farming Safajiva, it could be maybe you're stuck in the story. In fact, we did Safajiva earlier today, so this is not going to be a Safajiva stream, I've decided. Maybe we'll have a Safajiva stream after this one, but we will do other activities because I've already done Safajiva today. I'll go crazy if I do it again. Oh, so far it's just me in here. Well, you know, I started this up very quickly. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and join some randoms. Actually, let's see if I have any wide range setups. Raw dog. Friendship. I don't think I do. Maybe I should put one together. Let's talk about Susie Liu copyright war drama. Ooh, I haven't even heard of that. Susie Liu. Drama. I have no idea what it's talking about, yeah. Susie Liu. I'm joining just now, but I can understand that's pretty late. What's your new favorite Pierce Heavy Bowgun with the update? I see you're moved to Greatsword. Well, Greatsword's a really strong weapon right now. It does a lot of damage compared to the other melee weapons, and is very simple to build for, and it's very simple to use. Oh, nice. So this is a health boost. We got recovery speed, recovery up. So this is a defense build. Cool. Maybe we'll just use this the whole time. Keep us alive, right? This guy simped super hard for this loot mod. Oh my god. Here, let's join quest. We're going to respond to SOS. There we go. All right. Let's see. What do we got? Telling you guys. All right. So I will go ahead. I'm going to jump into this quest right here and help Oloth. He is Master Rank 21 using the Enduring Surrenders. Let's get in there. How's it going, Super Freddy? How's it going, Doomslayer? James Dice says, do you have enough items for a wide range build? I probably do. Do y'all like salsa or guacamole? You know, I like them both. I like salsa that has cilantro in it, and then guacamole is pretty good. Yeah, both are pretty good. Just depends on, you know, if you have too much of one, you end up wanting the other. Take a break. We'll take the feline heroics. How do you manage to have so many total hours and not be burnt out? Well, oh, connection to the session lost. Oh my god, are we still... Okay. Maybe I'll play with you guys then. Hold on. Jesus. Nobody's posted a quest. Do I have a quest to post? Maybe I have a quest to post. Here, let's start out with... No, it'll be under events. Let's start out with the Extreme Behemoth. How about that? Here it is. PK says, I still remember when you helped me on my hunt. Feels nice helping newer hunters. It does feel nice. That is one of the things I like to do, which is also why I like it when there's sort of like a monster who you can't really solo, so that you have to have teammates come and play with you. And we haven't really gotten that in Iceborne. Not very much. You know, you could argue the new siege mode, but that's about it. We use thick summoner jelly. How's it going, Zutroy? ES says, I wish cats made delicious meals in real life instead of pooping in my garden. Gross, man. So we have Nicholas, Irfan, and Aaron. Sweet. He used a gourmet voucher. I got my defense build, so I'm not worried at all. Hey, you know what would be fun? Let's take a look at everyone's builds. Let's see, how do we do this? I haven't done this in a while. Here we go. So this guy has Crit Eye, Agitator, Earplug, Weakness, Exploit. Yeah, that's pretty good. How about Irfan? Safi Dream Crusher with Sharpness, Attack Boost, Crit Eye, Earplugs, Agitator, Health Boost, Crit Boost, Weakness, Exploit, Airborne, Fortified Coalescence. Yeah, it's pretty good too. How about Aaron? Ruinous Devastation. Defense Boost. He's got Defense Boost 7, all Ruinous. No Health Boost. Your build does not make any sense, Aaron, but we will take you with us. Was hoping to get help on Extreme Behemoth on PC, says Puss in Boots. Oh, I'm sorry, Puss in Boots. We had 2 streams on PC. Maybe you can contact me and tell me when, on Discord or something, and tell me when you're available. Maybe we can set something up. I don't know. TGC, feat reveal? That's right, we're doing a feat reveal. Feat reveal. Man, I was looking on Twitch. The top Monster Hunter streamer on Twitch had like 186 people watching. And then I checked on YouTube to see if there were any Monster Hunter streamers there. Not a single one. So this will probably become the largest Monster Hunter stream on the internet tonight. Like we're at 140, 150 viewers in 7 minutes. Wait till we're like an hour into the stream. We'll have like 500 people watching. It'll be crazy. Modestro says, the other day someone in a group asked, why would someone use mixed parts? I know, right? They're like, I've actually had that question a few times. Should I use mixed parts? Such a funny question. Wait a second, I don't attack the arms. What? I'm so stupid. I never managed to do Behemoth. It's so hard. Oops, we had the same idea. Man. Alright, we went for the foot because we weren't going to hit that tail. Falling boulders, very good. Did we miss one of the falling boulders? We must have missed it. Oh, nice. Alright, so this is chat. I'm supposed to be paying attention to the chat. Alright, let's talk, guys. What do you guys want to talk about? We can talk about anything you want. We can talk about cake mix. Hey, GE, we talked about politics, sex, and the family unit. What are your thoughts on race? What thoughts are there to have about race? My thoughts. I don't know what there's to say. Are the Irish better than the Italians? Ooh. All I can say is that the most attractive women are all redheaded. Alright? So, guess that makes me a sexist. Wait. You can't say that? Woo! Did you see that claw grab? How was your potato pie? Oh, it was nice. I had a slice of it. It tasted exactly like pumpkin pie. It tasted exactly like pumpkin pie. You know why? Because pumpkin pie, the flavor of pumpkin pie is not pumpkin. It's all the spices that they put into the pie. Ooh, let me check my item loadout. Oops. Okay, my item loadout does include the behemoth jump, so we have that. Does Quip Quip have red hair? She kind of does. Her brother has red hair, and she has kind of like a dirty blonde hair color, which is more like a combination of blonde and reddish hair. It almost looks a little brown that way, but she's not a brunette. It's too light colored to be a brunette. Oh my god, you stupid! And we deflect, and we get hit by that. Oh, we're gonna get KO'd if we're not careful. There we go, no berry. I think those are going to be the dragon pods over there. Really, you don't need them with the great sword. Did your wife come back from work? She left me and then she came back from work. Actually, with the whole quarantine going on, she's always back from work, really. Oh god, I jumped right into that. Currently getting rid of armor spheres and now know it takes approximately 732 advanced armor spheres to upgrade an augmented rarity 11 piece of equipment. Really? That's a lot. When you're going to one-on-one that Raging Bracky in a boxing match. Raging Bracky. That's some solo fights against Raging Bracketeers. Law SOS says, when I try to play with other people, I always get the error code. Help, please. I can't help you with that. That's something you got to figure out. What happened? He was going to sleep and then he got knocked over instead. Woo! Ah. By the way, is the boulder down? I don't see the boulder. Am I dreaming? TGC streaming non-stop. That's right, all day, every day. Okay, that's going to be the boulder. Where did it land? Alright, that's an okay place. Run, Aaron! Aaron, you're never gonna make it! Oh no, he gotta throw me off. Don't do it, Behemoth. Were you main Xbox before? Oh my god. You can't tackle the grab, duh. Do you know how to unlock high rank Kushala quests in Ancient Forest? No. Where I look like somebody who knows stuff? That's gonna hurt. Ouch. Got my Stare Jerky right here. TGC streaming every day till the day he dies. That's right. Every day a stream. Imagine this, a mission mode where every hit of Behemoth is a one-hit kill. Oh, and I've been knocked off. What? That sucks. Is it just me that can't fight Master Rank Kushala for the life of me? Master Rank Kushala sucks. He's so boring, man. You don't get to do any damage. Oh, you can't tackle that punch. Look, we barely take any damage. This setup is so good. I don't care what anyone says. This setup does so good. Look how fast we get our health back. It's ridiculous. Woo! Your opinion about the Switch Axe. Switch Axe is cool. I don't got anything against Switch Axe. We've talked about how there's a lot of competition amongst sever damage weapons, like Insect Glaive, Longsword, Switch Axe, and Greatsword. And it feels like, you know, Greatsword is doing a really good job just because it has the tackle and it's got the terrific vertical range. And actually, a lot of people do actually prefer how simple it is to use, even though it's hard to master. Whereas Switch Axe, you got a lot of commitment, but you don't have the tackle, you don't have the same like iframes on your roll because you're using a side hop or just a hop, right? Smack him in the face again. Oh, let's not smack him in the face. So, but Switch Axe is a lot of fun, you know, and it's doing damage. So I think one of the reasons people like to beat up on the Lance is it's not really doing enough damage. But Switch Axe actually outdamages the Longsword, apparently. It comes in above the Longsword for damage on the speedrun tier list. I suppose that could change. Again, one of the best counter arguments for the speedrunner tier list is that it could just come down to who's playing what weapon, like the skill of the speedrunners, skill and dedication of the speedrunners. Kushala is easy if you're having a ranged weapon or long gun lance, but most melee weapons have trouble reaching. That's right. If you just use sticky ammo on Kushala Daora, he will be a piece of cake. Alright, here, let me lean back here. Oh, there we go. I like Master Rank Kushala. Alright, I'm going to stop reading there. What about dual blades? Yeah, dual blades are also another sever weapon. However, the weapon I've played the least is going to be the dual blades. I can't say I'm a big fan of dual blades or sword and shield. Their short range drives me crazy. Although dual blades handle the short range much better than sword and shield does. Did that really just happen? Oh, darn it. Two, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Wait, is he not aggroed? Huh. Weird. I thought that would reach me, I suppose not. Oh, no point. We made it. Did we get the stimulus check? Yes. Stimulus check arrived. We're $1,000 richer. Nice. How about you guys? What's my favorite element? I wish I had a clever comeback, but I don't. I don't have a clever element. That sounds funny. Become a patron chase. You get session ID in advance. Oh, that's true. Session ID is... There's a special channel in the Discord where you get this session ID early. Hey, mister, are you playing on the Wii U? Negative. This is serious radio. Dragon Pods won't bring aggro if he already had someone else's. Maybe he was already aggroed and I couldn't tell. TGC, I finally beat Extreme Behemoth yesterday. Oh, great. Yeah, he can be a pain. Actually, I feel like the biggest problem with him is just how little time you have to kill him. You know, you run out of time. What do you think about the Insect Glaive? I think that the Insect Glaive should receive a buff for aerial damage and just become the premier aerial weapon in the game. And then people will all be happy and be like, wow, I play Insect Glaive. Ooh. When are you going to make a Monster Hunter stream in a Nintendo GameCube? I don't know. Oops, he got me. Oh, and there it is. Run! Well, that was a nice, easy run. Oh, I thought we were done. Apparently, we aren't. I thought we were done. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. Oh, there's that stun. Stagger, I mean. Where's he going? What's your favorite ranged weapon? Heavy bowgun. Just because it's so OP and easy. It's either OP or it's easy. It just depends on what you're doing with it. I recently became high rank 50 and tried my hands at arch-tempered elders. Oh, nice. How did you feel about them? Did they feel arch-tempered? Is there any way you can? Great question. No, there is no way I can. What if Master Rank Clove Armor gives crit boost secret? Ooh. That would be pretty amazing. Crit boost secret? That would be really funny. What are your thoughts about AI? Oh, that's an interesting subject. Yeah, that's... I would bet that every country should be racing to develop artificial intelligence that they can control and copyright and sell to the other countries. It'll probably be one of the most important exports of the future. So if I was China or Japan or the United States, I would be focusing very hard on research and development for AI. Research and development for AI will require strictly geniuses. It will have nothing to do with the color of your skin or the thing between your legs. Which is why identity politics is so dangerous, because whichever country really figures out how to make hardcore AI first, like the real deal, whoever figures that stuff out first is going to get real rich. It's probably going to change the whole world economy. What's the session ID? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Up your crit boost to 100. Wax secret, always crits on parts. Shit, I just got a black eagle charge blade. Shake my head. My head, my damn head. Your videos are awesome and have helped tons. Thank you. Oh, no problem, Tootie. You know, I've got some more of the 10 things you didn't know videos to make, but I've been so lazy. I've been working on the card stream. I've been getting these live streams out and just chilling. Medestro says, we barely have human intelligence. Pretty much. Also, aren't there like a ton of movies that explain why that is a bad idea? Yeah, actually, you know, even some intellectuals, I guess you could call them intellectuals, even some of them are worried about what actual artificial intelligence would cause, like maybe, well, you guys know all this stuff, Skynet basically, right? All the same concerns that the movies had. What would happen if computers were sentient? It would probably be real bad. Maybe. Alright, let's see. Ode to Destruction or Wrath of Thunder Descends. We're going to do Destruction. Is there a place for people to rate my builds in the Discord? Yeah, I'd say so. We have the weapon channels. So in the Discord, you could go to the weapon channels and post a picture of your build and be like, hey, rate my build. Goddamn communist still hasn't got a job. I have a job, Chad. I'm a Pokemon card dealer or something like that. I have a Pokemon card store. There you go. Best overall insect glaive? Either the Sophagiva Blast insect glaive or the Raging Brachydios insect glaive. Modestro says, on a serious note regarding AI, that is the reason why Asimov created the laws of robotics a ton of years ago. True Sighted says, they will always find some way to include oh, sorry, you guys are waiting on me. Here you go. They will always find some way to include identity politics. Some of those smart people are too dumb to know better and not to do otherwise. What PC or specs are you using to do any content? Yes. I'm using a PC. TGC is an alien, confirmed. What do you think if bleed is a part of the abnormal status element? Well, that would be interesting if you could bleed a monster. It would definitely be something new. Somebody would calculate it, and we'd just use a calculator to know which one does the most damage. Am I looking forward to Elytrion? Yes. What is the best greatsword? This one. The one on my back is the very best one. There's no other good greatsword at all. Is the Furious Raging Greatsword good? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think it's as good as Raging Brachydios, because Raging Brachydios Greatsword is going to give you a few blasts, Whereas the Furious Rajang is probably not going to do much elemental. Were you serious yesterday when you said you might make a video on investing? Not too serious. Oh wow, I must have joined much later. I didn't realize how late I joined. Why has it not worked? What is the actual status of your Lance video? It's uploaded? It just needs, like, all the stuff. Like, it needs the thumbnail, the title, the keywords, and I've just left it there. Longsword's worth getting. Longsword's worth getting. The washing pole. Jack Pedley says, somebody in this session help me do the raging assignment, please, because I am bad. At least you're honest. Stone says, do you know how rare the immortal reactor is from Raging Bracky? It could be fairly rare. We did a every single weapon in the game for Raging Brachydios live stream. Remember that, guys? And there was definitely a dry spell where we just did not get any mortal reactors for a while. Sometimes you'll get it quickly, sometimes you'll not get it quick at all. It took us 12 hours, by the way, to do 14 weapons. So, Chat says, are you standing for 1 minute every 45 minutes? I just bicycled a mile. No, I guess I'm not doing that. Maybe I'll start doing that. Which longswords are worth getting? I told you, man, the washing pole. The washing pole and the... Thinking about it. All I can remember is the washing pole. Trevin says, yay, another stream. Bring the hypeness. How's it going, Trevin? You got 5 in 1 hunt. What? That's too many. The game can read your fears. You cannot let it know what your decoration or item you need. It will withhold it from you. That's how it feels sometimes. What is your least favorite and respected monster? Mine would be Lagambi. Oh, mine's definitely Lagambi. You can get the reactor from Plunderblade. What? Let's do it, Mirage. Right over here. Got the evil eye of woe. Half a star chance. Let's have one of these. Oh my god, why do I have so many? Oh, we're getting some lag. Are the new fish dual blades any good? I heard they're not as good as the Sophagiva dual blades, but that they're pretty close. The fear of not getting decorations we want. Really? That's right. Decided to finally organize my item loadouts. How do I change the order they appear in? Oh, okay. The order. You push start, and then on the PlayStation controller, you push triangle. No, wait. Here you go. You go to item pouch, and then you press triangle. And this menu allows you to change the order of your items. So I can move this over here, so that they're right next to each other. And the dunk pod can go all the way at the end. See? And then you would save that. You would save that just like you would save an item loadout. How the heck he got so much as any? I just must work really hard for it. I definitely don't have a modified account. Game Economist, are your cats poopy buttholes and do you need saving from them? Yes, all my cats are poopy buttholes and you can have them. No, you can have one of them. The one with the long hair, the white cat, the one with the white fur, you can have that one. She's real smart, but she's like an asshole sometimes. The other one, who is clearly not as smart, is much nicer. Here we are. I'm gonna eat this. I told you, Chad, I'm a card dealer. That's a legit job. Man, I might actually have to apply for an actual business license for all the cards we do on the card stream. Boop. Oops. looking at your comments. So how is your day, everyone? Anyone have a good story to share? Any drama? I love drama. Let's see, did I have any drama? I think my days are pretty simple. Everyone's on lockdown, which means that no drama can happen. My friend said I used Save Wizard, which I don't, but I did do a lot of grinding, about 2,400 hours in total. So folks in chat, you've been hired by Capcom to design a new joke weapon. What do you make? Caption, really? How's this water? How's this water doing? What? Put on the glider mantle now. I carded using the greatsword and lost the match. Okay, and now I'm poisoned. Might catch me on. Do you have any poison resist? Of course I don't. Alright, well we'll have the Aster jerky. What the hell? Is she supposed to be standing there this long? Oh my god. Electron has no water damage. He said yes if he has elemental damage. What? My family and I don't have much drama at home. The only drama is finding stuff that seems to be missing. Your family doesn't have drama. That's no way to live. Oops, and we're reflecting off the head. This is the IRS, and we have come to give you an update on your $1,200, even though you pay your goddamn taxes. Oh, we came to not give you an update on your $1,200. Your goddamn taxes. Ah, yes, the IRS. Run over here. Whoa! He's scaring me, man. He's got it. I had the same idea. Guess we'll just do damage to the tail while we can. We at the IRS will not be ignored. Sorry if this is asked a lot, but what is the best way to farm Iceborne decorations? Yeah, that is a very common question. There's no, quote, fast way in my opinion. If you really want the best decorations, I suspect that you're getting them from, what are they called? Are they called sealed? They're the very last level of Faystone, and I think there is no easy quest for them currently. So the main way you obtain them is by playing the actual tempered investigations. Pretty sure that's accurate. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. Tempered Zenogre event is amazing for deco farm. Yeah, see, so there's the carved. Oh, I'm trying to remember the names of them. There's 3 different levels of Faystone in Iceborne, I believe. 3 new Faystone levels. And the thing is, I used to think that the Zenogre quest was good. It's good if you don't have any decorations already, but I do not believe it gives you the best level of decoration. And that would mean that you would probably want to do the tempered investigations. Still. Nice. And we're still bouncing off her head. Her head needs to be broken. Bro! Oh my god. Remove this. Tempered Zenogre is garbage compared to level 3 investigation, says Fiege. It's garbage. Andrew, thank you so much. He says, love your content. Just watched your Charge Blade video, and I am now inspired to learn it. Oh, very cool. God, man, I had to make more instructional videos. I don't know what it is about the sound of your button pressing is so relaxing. It's gaming ASMR. It's the sound of me failing. I'll do an ASMR stream where I only whisper. Guild Alchemy only gets you stuff from the first tier. Ancient Face Stone, Carved and Sealed you need to get. Sealed, I think, is the one that you really need to get. So that's why I was realizing after a little bit of research. Oops. Dude, how do you get the session ID? How to score it? It did not work for me. You have to go to the channel in the Discord called the Session ID channel. So there's different channels in the Discord. It's the Session ID channel where I post. You might be new to Discord, so maybe you missed that channel. You'll waste so much time trying to get the high-level decorations on Tempers and Ogre, you'll end up with 50 poison coats and 0 level 4 experts. Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm worried about. Maybe I should make a video about that, explaining that to people. Oh. Tried the hammer after trying the insect glaive, slowed my blood to a crawl, think I died and was reborn after death as a hammer bored me to life. What? Carved face stone and sealed face stones both drop off the event quest. Most I've seen is 8 total. 3 sealed and 5 carved. Oh, okay, so you're saying the event quest can actually give you the sealed face stone. Okay. Well, if that's the case, well then that's good. Don't hurt me, don't hurt me. She hurt me. She gonna kill me. Ah! You can't get me. I have the heroic skill. Do you think Master Rank Kolv's armor can finally have true crit status element? I don't know what they're gonna give it. The armor never had an armor set bonus skill, and I feel like they would actually try to keep it that way, you know what I mean? For tradition's sake. Nice. See how much healing we did off of that hit? So much healing. The very rare T4 decorations are probably in T3 investigations. I've never got anything too outstanding from Zenogre. I'm about to die. Oh! Woo! Almost got you. Almost got by the poison. Ouch. Just put this on real fast. Session ID up still. Here, let's just check the session. The session's full, guys. You shouldn't be able to get in either way. I'm so dead. Will you be streaming tomorrow? If yes, when and on what platform? I will be streaming tomorrow, very likely. The answer is I don't really have a stream schedule. I just stream randomly. If you want to know when I'm going to stream, I ping people in the Discord server. But I do not have a schedule because schedules are for poor people who have to show up to a job on schedule. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just really terrible with the schedules. I probably would get more viewers if I did use a schedule. Put on the glider mantle. Elytron Scythe Longsword design better be in the game or I'm going to be very upset. God, dude, I hate it when... Oh, she's running around. Alright, let's go ahead and sharpen. I think you're poisoned, says True-Sighted. I'm still alive. Still banging. Oh, so that's why I have a schedule. I'm poor. Always wonder that. It's a joke. I'm poor. I'm as poor as any of you guys, I'm sure. I mean, I'm like worse than poor. I'm in debt. It's like first there's the concept of having no money, and then after you've got no money, you can actually become even more poor by going into debt. So I've got $28,000 of student loan to pay off. So not only do I have no money, I have negative $28,000. Oh my gosh. What you gonna do now? Your tail's all cut off, little bitch. Little bitch. Gold Raytheon Surspike. Oh my god, just to get hit again. How can I join you, TGC? Been playing alone since Monster Hunter F. Ree! Well, unfortunately, the session is full, man. Debt equals great. Let other people pay for your stuff. Oh, never mind. He says student loans. Certain types of debt is good. Certain types of debt is good. For example, basically, if you get a loan with like very low interest rate in order to operate a business, that's great. Because the Federal Reserve just prints out money to keep those interest rates artificially low, which is exactly the kind of stuff they're doing. Oh, the market doesn't have enough liquidity. Oh, really? Yeah, we'll just print money and give it to you. So anyways, if you're an investor, that's great because you get the really low interest rates on hopefully an asset that is being productive and earning you money. So let's say you pull out a business loan and you're paying like a, I don't know, like a 3% interest rate on the business loan because it's a special loan for investing. And then you have all your tools like the pizza maker and you've hired your employees and you're paying rent and everything. But well, I guess actually using a pizza parlor is a bad example these days because all the restaurants are in trouble, right? It's probably a tough time to be a restaurant because it's harder to make money right now. But anyways, you pull out hopefully a very low interest business loan, and then the business makes much more money than the debt that you have to pay off. That's fundamentally what all businesses seek to accomplish. Oh my god, that's a good investment. You can make exceptions for school too, you know. Like, so I really talk about how education has not kept up with technology and it's greedy and it's not well designed for young people at all. But there's still good degrees out there. Like if you're going to go and become an engineer, if you're going to go and get a certificate for network security, that kind of stuff is still really good. So, you know, if you invest in that and you graduate and you find out that it's the perfect job for you and you get a job and it pays well, that's still a good investment. But yeah, you know, if you're a business, you seek to take on those large investment loans and then purchase an asset that is being productive and being very productive, hopefully. What are your thoughts on poison duration up for bowguns? I think it's fun. I saw somebody using a poison duration up setup with the heavy bowgun. Which heavy bowgun was it? I'm trying to remember. It was it was a speedrunner, and he was using it on one of the Lunastra heavy bowguns. And he was using poison duration up, and he was fighting, was it Safajiva? I think it was Safajiva. I haven't seen anything like that used since then, though. Network security, that is actually what I do. It pays really good in my country. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, network security probably will never go away. It's a really, really important issue. Very safe job, if I had to guess. Working on my computer science degree, thoughts? You should quit it and become a YouTuber. Do you have a community squad for people to join? I do not have a community squad, no. I started one once, but they just seemed kind of unnecessary, don't they? No real benefit to being in one. Oh, God. Europe, boys, a free education. It's free. Getting some of that free education. Wow. Was that last little hit on the tail what killed her? Jesus. Must be Tatsufi with Luna Basil Heavy Bowgun against Full Energy Safi solo run. That might be it, James. Yeah, that might be the one. Young Chan says, what happens if you get bankrupt on a business? Well, then you just complain to the government, and then the government bails you out. Problem solved, right? No, I'm just kidding. You know, if you go bankrupt, what happens is the business goes bankrupt, not you. That's what happens. The business goes bankrupt. And a lot of people could lose money, especially investors, but you probably will have trouble finding the ability to pull out another business loan is probably what will happen. And the bank will probably take over whatever remaining assets you have. And it depends on what kind of business you were. The bank will try, if you're a certain type of business, the bank will come in and try to take your personal assets. But if you're, I believe if you're a certain corporation, if the title of your, if your business license is certain corporation types, that won't happen. I'm trying to remember them all. I used to know this stuff. This is old stuff. I learned this stuff a long time ago. I was probably like 20 years old when I learned that. Yeah, there's businesses where it is considered like a small business, and this one's real risky because if it fails, they can come in and take all your stuff. There's partnerships. Partnerships are risky, I think, because if your partner screws up, you're going to be held liable for your partner. I think what I'm trying to think of is the Limited Liability Corporation, LLC. I think that's what they say. That's what he says here. Soul. They take that too. I'm trying to remember. There's certain corporation status like you LLCs are nice. See, Chad knows what I'm talking about then. So yeah, there's certain business licenses you can apply for as long as you're meeting the criteria, and these kind of protect you from bankruptcy. I mean, bankruptcy will still destroy your business, and the bank will take back all the assets, and you'll basically have wasted all your time and not made any money, but you're not going to lose your home. You see what I'm saying? There it is. Tootie says LLC protects you from personal asset forfeiture. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yes. Personal asset forfeiture. That's scary. All right, we'll join up with this Teostra. That's what he just mentioned prior to what he got into. If you fall within a certain amount in California and you are a Cali-born citizen, you get money for going to school. What? Pom-Pom dual blades using Paolumu and Nightshade Paolumu with the sleep and blast status effect. What? What are we talking about? But I really feel it's important for everyone to learn to become an investor. Everyone has to learn to become an investor because if you're not an investor, you're just going to be somebody else's worker, basically. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, why are we shipping all the jobs off to China? Well, these are our investors who do this, and they're basically buying slave labor is what they're doing. A long time in the South, you had slaves where you had to buy the slave, so that was money. You actually had to house and feed them too, so that was money too, right? And so that was slavery, and we all pretty much virtually agree now today that that was evil and wrong. But then what happens is you get all these corporations who ship the manufacturing out to a place like China or Taiwan or whatever, and the minimum wage out there is like $2, basically. It's like $2. So it's not the same as slavery, I guess, in the sense that it's voluntary out there, and the fact that that's what their jobs pay out there, like $2 an hour. But it's the same concept. You're basically looking for people who will work for nothing, and that's that's a lot of people don't understand. That's like at the root of the whole world economy right now. You know what I mean? That's like at the root of becoming wealthy of the world economy. So when you buy stock, let's say you buy stock in like Nike, everyone knows this about Nike. Nike has people make the shoes for like 50 cents an hour. You know? And then they sell it for like $80 or more or whatever. I don't know. I don't buy Nike shoes. But that's what causes all of the good productivity and the huge profit margins. That's what causes it all. So they basically have it made by slave labor, and then they bring it back here to be sold in a big market, market where people have money. And all of the huge profit margins then well, some of it goes to the CEO and the board of directors, I presume, and the CFO, and all the employees get a small cut. But the employees are once again, they're more like what do they call those, wage slaves? The employees are like wage slaves. They don't own anything, they're not growing an asset. So they don't own anything. They're just there to give up their life, give up their time, get old, making some other guy rich, while he uses slave labor in China or India or something to get his shoes made so he can bring it back here to the USA and make a huge profit margin, make the stockholders happy, and keep his job as the CEO. That's like the whole world economy right now. Oh God, you're one of those, says Chad. Modestro says the service to other countries such as mine, Latin America, or India, basically same concept, cheaper wages on labor, and we do roughly the same job. Yeah, it's very interesting. I've heard about many concepts about how to think about this. For example, what's supposed to happen is over time, because those people worked those 2 hour, $2 an hour jobs in their countries, what's supposed to happen is a middle class develops in the other country, and in the middle class, what they do is they, start buying product from us, so it starts going the other way around. I seriously question if that's what's going to happen. I used to buy into that. I'm not so sure that's exactly what'll happen anymore. Smack you in the head. Oh. Oh, he's flying off. I thought he was going to use his ult. I seriously question if that's how it's going to work out. My work ethic is built alongside Mexican, Guatemalan, El Salvador. Y'all often better work. What? Got a joke weapon. Universal world income would reduce everyone to make $2 an hour. Well, and people are like, hey, why don't we just bring the manufacturing jobs back? You could, but then the stocks won't do so well, will they? So it's like, what do you want to do? It's supposed to be, if you're a true, I guess, like economic globalist, you really do believe in simply shipping the warehouse out, the manufacturing warehouse out to literally whatever country has the absolute lowest wage, or not wage, labor, and then just getting the product made absolutely as cheaply as possible. And then you're supposed to take the product and import it to whichever country where it sells for the highest profit margin. And that's, if you're, again, a globalist, you're supposed to believe that this is good and healthy. I don't know. Over time, I've started to see arguments for protectionism, and I don't know how much I believe in that anymore. I still think there is some truth to it, but I think it's a little more complicated than that. In the 90s, Nike called out that none of the aid groups that complained about their use of child labor ever tried to build a school in Thailand. China middle class is real, but are they going to buy from the U.S. except from fresh luxury products? Nah. See, that's why I'm saying I think that you're going to have a lot of trade wars where countries are trying very hard to export more than they import. See what I'm saying? So nobody wants to be a net importer of American goods. They want to export to America. That's how countries get wealthy. And so I realize if there was no governments, maybe what I was explaining earlier would work, where you simply have the cheapest workers do the work as cheaply as possible, and then you ship it all around the world. I don't think it'll actually work out that way. When China develops a middle class, or whatever, Taiwan, they're still not going to want to be, again, a net importer of American goods. They're going to have rules that say, no, we don't do that. We'll export goods to America, but we don't want to buy a bunch of stuff from America. That would be bad for us. Do your job, TGE. Cut that tail. We all know you have a tail fetish. That's right. We're going to cut that tail. I don't carve tails anymore. It's purely for the disrespect. What? Nice job on the flint shot, guys. Your cringes. The middle class did develop a lot more in my country, and yeah, we started purchasing more products from other countries, but mostly Asia. For tourism, I do see people going more to the States. Interesting. Oof. There he goes. Excellent. I was waiting to see if those stickies would go off. Woo! Part's broken. There's the tail, just like you guys were saying. And we're falling back down. What do you think Archtemper Namiel's new set bonus will be? It will be the power to attract female hunters. That applies to big countries. Small countries like mine simply cannot export as much as we import. We just don't have enough production. Let's see. Run over here. Teostra lives in Stunland now. That's right. Oh man, I should get all the Palico weapons and then get all the... Let's see, do I have it? I don't. I want the Raider Ride. Have you played any MGS games? No, I've not played any Metal Gear Solid. Dubstep Hunting Horn. Oh my god, why do we not have Dubstep Hunting Horn? I don't understand. It'll tailor dual blade embos that's given. I cut off Odegaard's tail last night without trying to. It looks so indignant. When China imports stuff, it charges almost 100% tax. See, that's what I actually am concerned about. So we all say, okay, this is good. This is good for us. We should export all of our jobs to another country where the wages are unacceptable for this country. We'll export all our jobs, and then once they have a middle class, they'll buy our stuff. But I don't know if that actually happens. Three. I have a feeling it won't. I have a feeling that the countries will remain competitive. Nice job, everyone. You know what bothers me about China, says Trevin? For as long as I can remember, I've never seen them make any video games. You'd think they'd try to compete with Japan, but instead they just bootleg their stuff. Yeah, I don't think China was real big on allowing people to play video games at all for a while. I'm pretty sure video games were banned, and that they recently unbanned them. So I don't know about that. Same difference as the logistics of China importing and delivering to the inside of the country, not just the coastal cities, sounds like a nightmare. Oh, logistics. How's it going, Angel Carranza? Just so you know that somebody else thought of using the handler as a weapon. Maybe China should make toy manufacturing facilities over to China. China do buy stuff from America, but it will charge almost 100% tax. Wait, I think I already read that one. Same difference as China's talking about banning online games with foreigners. What? Nintendo's popular new game Animal Crossing has been banned in China after activist groups used the game to stage political protests. Wow, man. That's basically what you get with the communist government. They don't need your vote, so they can decide to do everything that protects the party. The Communist Party. They're like, no, we're not going to have any dissent. We see that you're using an ad blocker. So the trick when you get that message is to go over to view site information, and then you want to go to site settings. Under site settings, go to JavaScript and choose block. All right, and then after you've blocked the JavaScript, you'll refresh the page. Voila! They can no longer block me from reading the article. All you have to do is disable JavaScript. It's so stupid. I hate those things. No official reason for the removal was given, but activist Joshua Wong of the Hong Kong Youth Movement said that the decision was caused by protest activities he and others conducted in the game. That's sad, man. Is Animal Crossing. After the outbreak of coronavirus, it is difficult to organize physical gatherings. With the new game out, we can have virtual protests, and we just have to use our creativity to make a new kind of protest tool. What? Wow. I guess the Chinese activists do not like the head of the World Health Organization either. Wow, that's interesting. Game consoles were officially banned in China until the year 2015. The Nintendo Switch wasn't approved for sale until December, when the 2.5-year-old console launched in partnership with Chinese tech giant Tencent. Only 3 Switch games had been legally approved for sale: New Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart 8. Wow. They're still trying to sell the game in China, though, but they use, like, code names. Dude, that's interesting. John said, isn't that fascism? I think, John, you will find fascism and communism have a lot in common. Alright, so let's see. Available quests. We're going to help Return of the Crazy One. We're on our way, Tao. Do I even like Animal Crossing? My wife plays Animal Crossing. I think it's a cute game. I'm not really big on interior design, that kind of stuff, so I don't personally play it very much, but she likes it, so I like it. Chad says, who is dog shit, bro? I agree, man. It seemed odd, like when I read articles about it, it really did seem like the head of the organization was in China's pocket, just kind of saying what they would have wanted him to say, and it made me wonder, like, all right, how many millions of dollars did they give him? Why ask people's opinion when you disagree with what they say? The Chinese party would rather do it their way. Yeah, well, again, like when you do not have to have a vote, you just do whatever you think is best for the party, and that's it. It's kind of like being a moderator in my Discord or the owner of the Discord. There's no democracy. If I don't like it, you just get the boot. From AC to Chad picking up branches. What? A code phrase for Animal Crossing. What did Trump do so good? Chad, you're pushing it. What did Trump do so good? Literally everything. Hello. He's the best. The greatest. We're gonna have an economic recovery like nobody's ever heard of. Trevor said, did you see that old dude that dodged the question when asked about Taiwan? He Canadian too. Probably. I don't know what you're referring to. That seems like too unspecific of a situation. Can you show any charge blade builds for Safi? Only if you say it all in caps locks, obviously. I don't know. Let's see if I have a charge blade build. No, that's a bad build. Don't look at that one. Raging Beast Blade. I don't have one. I don't have one on my PlayStation. No, I don't have one on my PlayStation. Didn't expect such deep convoys. Look out for the convoys, boys. I'm just going to stick with talking about joke weapons. Sorry, Feech. Maybe next time I'll invest into your anti-Trump ignorance. Got him. Last time I joined was a 24-hour stream. Now is a political one. That's right. This is the politically correct stream. You may not question anything. You must accept all things. And unless you're religious, in which case that's not allowed. Max Barnaby says, what's up? New to the channel and the game. Any tips for beginners? For beginners, better clench onto those booty cheeks, boy. Get ready to get booty smacked. Alexander says, just to help things out, apparently specialists predict that without a vaccine, social distancing and whatnot will have to stay until 2022. All right, guys, I'm rushing to get my vaccine. Donald Trump would save the economy by selling his wig. Oh, man. Is it a wig, though? See, I don't even know if it's a wig. What if it was a wig? What if it wasn't a wig? Come here, you. Who's playing Minecraft? Hey, man, you want to play some Minecraft? Alright, guys, Minecraft stream after this one. We're going to start our new utopia. The main thing I don't understand Trump's position on is the post office. I get he doesn't like how it's run and he hates Amazon, but we kind of need the post office. Do we? I do a lot of shipping, by the way, so I did an enormous amount of shipping for my dad when he ran his home business, and now I'm pretty much doing the equivalent of running a home business because of the card channel, right? And you don't have to have the post office. It is a nice competitor for FedEx and UPS, but it's not like required. Minecraft type. I think if UPS shut down, what would happen is specific services USPS used to offer would then be offered by FedEx or UPS, or maybe it wouldn't, and they would be like, okay, we'll just make you use our shipping methods. But then again, maybe somebody else would rise up and offer it. John says play Final Fantasy VII. What? Is the Tempers and Ogre quest any good to get Sharp Jewel, or should I maybe go for the name Lavaciath? You would definitely get that decoration faster with the names Lavaciath. I can't talk. Wow, we did 200 by accidentally getting the wings. That's so annoying. Please let this land. Oh, come on, man. He actually has a bald spot. That's why his hair is done like that, and his skin isn't naturally orange. He wears some sort of makeup because he likes it like that. We're really talking about Trump's fashion. The people that make decisions for the post office are not smart because they have jobs with little to no oversight, so they don't care. It's probably a little more than that. Probably, if I had to guess, the people who run FedEx and UPS probably get paid better. You know what I mean? So if you're the best at what you do, why would you stay with the government and get paid government money when you could go work for like an actual private corporation and get paid the big bucks? Did you see Cardio B and Bernie Sanders if live? What? What is he talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. How's life locked inside a room? Pretty much the way it's always been. Nothing's really changed. We're talking about Trump's terrible hairstyle. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to the post office, so I think we really do need it. We just need to fix it. Want to talk Trump? Let's talk Trump. Donald Trump is the most... What does Bernie Sanders say? I can't remember. He talks about Donald Trump like he's basically Hitler. He's like, the most dangerous president we've ever had. That's how he talks about him. Donald Trump, the single most dangerous president. Oh no. It's funny because probably a decent number of Bernie Sanders voters ended up voting for Donald Trump if I had to guess. Why? Oh, but then he got knocked out of the way. Oh, 400. They could vote for him or they could vote for Hillary. Imagine having to vote for Hillary. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't even vote that year. What's your favorite monster design in Monster Hunter World? My favorite monster design? Why, it was the Garuga, of course. Why would you even ask? Had to remove ingrown toenail myself because I couldn't get a doctor to do it. Quarantine testing me. Ew. He's like, and you all need to know. At least Trump doesn't sniff underage anime girls. When there's wind, Trump's hair flies back so far it shows his 30-foot ball field forehead. Can you get the Damascus mail in master rank? Yes. Yes, you can. Ouch. What do you think about Charge Blade? I think that Charge Blade is a blade that charges. How's it going, bro gems? Bro gems? Imagine still being on the Trump hate train and implying that you'll support Biden and no one is going to take these people seriously ever again. Ah, man. I think somebody said in one of my live streams, they're like, I'll take dementia Joe Biden with a decent vice president over Donald Trump. And I was like, wow, man. But what was funny about the statement, I thought to myself, is like, even they were admitting that there's just something's not right with Joe Biden. He's just not there. He's too old. He's not all there. It's really obvious. Everyone at my hubby's work and all our friends and family got their Trump check. We're still waiting. I'm sorry, Classy. That sucks. Got their Trump check. I think I mentioned that earlier. Donald Trump, apparently he put his name on the checks, which is not normal. And Nancy Pelosi is super upset about it. Can we see your skills at the moment? Alright, let's check our skills at the moment. Oh, and down he goes. What's the actual appeal for Biden other than vote blue no matter who? He can't make coherent sentences. Dude is crazy. I can't believe he beat all the other Democrat candidates and he can't talk. You know, the first like few debates, I wasn't so sure. It seemed like something wasn't quite right. I think the first time I thought something might not be right is he was in the middle of a sentence and he just kind of like gave up in the middle of a sentence. He like sighed and he just stopped. And you were like, it sounded like you were going somewhere with that. Why are you stopping, Joe? That was like the first time I was like, that didn't seem normal. My wife and I, we like looked at each other like, is he okay? But it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't like a one-time thing. He does it all the time. It's like, oh no. Bitches about minimum wage not being 15 pays his people 13.50. All right. That was not a flattering headline. I remember that one. Bernie Sanders wants, you know, certain minimum wage, but he doesn't pay his own campaign team the amount that he talks about. That was really not too flattering. God damn it! I should soften these wings. What do you think of Boris Johnson? Boris Johnson, heck yeah. I don't know anything about him. All I know is that he has crazy hair. That's all I know. That's all I know. Boris Johnson is about to make Britain great again. That's all I know. Where the frick is this guy going? I have no clue where to go. Hey, Biden can too talk as to whether or not it makes sense is a whole different thing. No refunds. Like a child after giving a speech, sniff the children 2020. Oh man, it's really bad, isn't it? It does not seem too good. Am I going the right way? Somebody tell me I'm going the right way. Okay, I did. Boris is a knob. Boris is a 100% high dragon energy alpha male, and he is going to make Britain the greatest European country to live in 2021. He's already gotten the coronavirus. He's going to recover from it and be stronger than ever. He's going to literally breathe in coronavirus every single day because he's an absolute mad lad. Whew. Oh. Does the geo skill not work? Bernie dessert. Boris is great. That's why they need Kutku. How much countries have you been to, and what was your favorite? I've really only been outside of the USA one time. I went on a week-long vacation when I was a kid. I went on a week-long vacation to Cozumel, and it was so damn beautiful. So it pains me to think that Mexico has so much trouble with like drug cartels and all whatever their issues are. It pains me to think that they have some of the most beautiful pieces of earth anywhere when it comes to like beaches. They could have a massive, massive tourist industry, but I'm assuming people don't go there because of the drug cartels and the risk of actually being caught up in it, maybe being kidnapped, maybe being robbed, whatever it is, right? My wife and I have thought about going to Mexico, Cozumel, because I went there when I was a kid. We're not going to do it. We're going to go to Europe. If we go outside of the country, it's going to be Europe or Japan. Mexico, anywhere in the South America is off limits because we don't want to be the victims of violence out there. It's just not going to happen because we're not going to go. People will be like, it probably won't happen to you. It's like, right, but it's just not going to happen at all because I'm not going to go. Easy. Of course, the irony, of course, is that America has really violent cities too, but it's sad. There's always these cities that are full of drugs, like heroin. You get all these people selling heroin and dying to the heroin and killing each other over heroin and trying to steal and rob and kill so they have money for their frickin' heroin. It's so bad. Cartel people like beautiful scenery too. It makes sense. Well, and it's not like you're perfectly safe in Europe either. It's just that your odds are much better. So it's like, well, But yeah, they had these white sandy beaches, beautiful little animals, iguanas. They were cool. The tropical fish, the water was almost like hot. We went in the summertime and the water was so warm. It was like shocking. Never done anything like that. In fact, I've been to Florida like 4 times to go to the ocean, and it's nice, but it's not as nice as like what we experienced in Cozumel as kids. It's like you guys have some really nice tourism opportunities, and my guess is that it's a little underdeveloped. Little underdeveloped. Brogem says, "Yo, Game Economist, I recently lost about 200 hours of Monster Hunter Save. Do you have any tips to level up fast?" To level up fast? Turn on your favorite anime TV show, or, whatever you're going to watch, and start playing the game. Probably focus on, have like a list, a to-do list, so that you're being productive. Like, all right, I need these materials, these charms need upgrading, this armor set, and then just grind, dude. There's no fast way to get powerful in this game. Like, there's probably, if you had a really deep knowledge of the game, you could probably say, okay, I'm just going to grind this exact monster because I'm going to go so fast with this particular counter build. Like maybe using Pierce ammo versus Shara Ishvala, who knows? But other than that, maybe like SOS, try to join people who you think have already finished quite a bit of their fight. I don't know. Elliot says, go to Ireland and greatsword some sheep. No, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to greatsword some sheep, but I might go to Ireland. Why not? Where in EU are you planning to travel? Shep, if I could go everywhere, I'd go everywhere. I want to go to Scotland. I would go to Ireland and Northern Ireland. I'm curious about that place. London. Man, yeah, London. There's actually a place in the UK. I think it's called like Caton, right? And that's my last name. And I think that's where my last name originates from. Let me look it up. Caton is a village and civil parish in Scarborough of North Yorkshire, England. Yeah, so my last name is British because my grandfather's of British, what's the right word? Origin, ancestry. And I think that's where technically my last name comes from. So I thought about visiting that just for fun. But also, my mom's side of the family is German. So I wouldn't mind visiting various Germanic countries, like Belgium or something like that. Maybe like go to Germany for Oktoberfest would be really cool. We'd like to do that. Switzerland, we've seen the mountains in Switzerland. Actually, I think Switzerland's probably the most beautiful place I've ever seen. I love the concept of living like between mountains and in the fields like that. Is very, very appealing. I like the ocean, but I also like that whole concept of living between mountains and being a bit secluded. It's because I'm naturally kind of secluded. If you vacation in Europe, try Malta, a warm Mediterranean island. Okay. My wife, her grandfather would have been Hungarian, so we've thought about going to Hungary for fun. I live in is it Dublin or Dublin? I never know if I'm pronouncing it right. He says, a great city. Yeah, we've heard that it's become a bit of a technology hub. Yeah, we've heard it's become a bit of a technology hub, so we've thought about going there and exploring and seeing what it's like and maybe even moving. We've thought about moving to Europe. Every time we want to talk about moving to Europe because we like that Europe actually has ancient history and usually a bit more culture. Honestly, I think Europe has something America does not, and that's a sense of unity, believe it or not. So you guys probably have your own competing parties in your own countries that are like, hey, we're for this, we're for that. You have no idea how bad it's gotten over here. It's so bad. People straight up just hate each other. Yeah, I think America's due for basically like a civil war. It's so bad. I think people secretly kind of wish they could just, like, we don't want to live together anymore. This is definitely not going to work. The only thing we can do now is fight and see who wins. You know what I mean? It's gotten really toxic over here. And I don't think Europe, if I had to guess, has gotten quite as bad. I don't know. Maybe that's me speaking from ignorance, though. There's so much. You guys have so much over there. There's probably cases where maybe that is true. Rekka Wolf says, "Do you know of any fluent languages you're good at?" Let me check. I took 2 years of German in college because it was a requirement for my computer science degree to take a certain group of classes that included like sociology, languages. It's so silly. It's one of the reasons why I think that colleges basically are just designed to rip you off, because I shouldn't have had to have taken that. It doesn't make any sense. You don't need to know a language like Spanish to become a software engineer. Right? But so I chose German because I like the sound of the German language, and that was fun. But I didn't become fluent in it. I just got decent enough that I can probably take like a German sentence, recognize certain parts of it, and use Google Translate, like any of you. But if I had to learn how to speak German, I'd definitely have a head start, anyways. Chad says, "GE, let's start a podcast. You be the likable guy. I'll be the asshole." Nah, that's we'll start a podcast, and I will be the low IQ guy. It's Cool says, "Hello, Game Economist." Jonathan says, "Europe had two great wars." That's right. Europe had plenty of war. You're right. They in fact did. Europe had two great wars. You're right. They were fighting. Why not come to Yarnum? Yarnum. David O'Dwyer says, "I am a U.S. citizen living in Europe for 5 years now, and it is so much better. I get $3.50 a week during the lockdown. No hoops to jump through." What? I want $3.50 a week. Wow. Want to come to London? Give me the session ID. I'll put you up in my flat for a few weeks. Actually, I have a really old Xbox friend, Xbox Live friend, and I wonder if he would be open to me coming over and chilling at his place for a little while. This is not only US, but everywhere around the world. Some people in Detroit are literally breaking into people's cars just to have money. No, they're breaking into people's cars because they're criminals. I hate the concept that people think that crime is justified. Okay, if you're literally starving and dying, there's no food banks that'll take you. You don't have enough money to buy, rice. You can't get anything at all. You absolutely must break into this guy's car to feed yourself. Okay, but I think that the reality is plenty of people commit crime and then they justify it with bad rationalizations like, "Oh, I'm poor, therefore I have to commit this crime." And it's like, no, you don't. And I say this coming from a place of being extremely poor. I left my family's home with no plan and no money at 17 years old. Nothing. And I actually slept outside in the summertime. Luckily it was summer, it wasn't winter. And I know what it's like to be extremely, extremely poor. And I never committed crime. There was no need to. You just didn't commit crime. I think that often people who have real deep psychological problems go commit the crime and never really fix their lives, because their problem wasn't that there weren't opportunities. They were the problem. You know what I mean? The problem was them having ideas like, okay, I have to commit this crime, or else how will I be happy? It's like, what? How will I have this if I do not steal it? It's like, you gotta have to do it the hard way. And then you won't have any kind of criminal history. Just imagine the moment you become like a felon, everything is probably just getting so much harder for you at that point. Like, let me be honest, if I was a businessman and I had my choice between a felon and somebody who wasn't a felon, I'm not going to choose the felon unless the government pays me a ton of money to choose the felon. And even then, I'm going to be wondering, oh man, is he going to screw everything up? I'll be wondering that like the whole time. The social safety net is stronger in Europe. Right. I guess what I would say to that, another way of saying that is we pay more taxes. And, if we ever experienced a situation where we couldn't sustain the social safety net, we would actually have a very bad economy. That's how I hear that, by the way. Chat says, "It applies to you with the channel's income as well. Check your Discord after the stream. How are you playing and reading comment at the same time? Is my third eye. July 31st, you'll be awarded it." Okay, there was news about it in January. Those issues, which you can find very fast on Google double monitor setup. It is not a double monitor setup, but I do have a TV and a laptop, so I guess in a way it is. But the biggest thing is I've just sort of played the game long enough that I probably won't die. We'll have to see. At least you picked summer. I got caught without shelter in a freaking ice storm. How many players do you think know that you can trip the monster just by constantly aiming at the leg? That's a good question. I know I didn't know that when I started the game. If you ever watch someone speedrun somebody like Devil Joe, they'll actually just choose the leg with most weapons, and then as soon as Devil Joe is tripped, or as soon as Devil Joe goes into his hunched over position, they'll go for the chest at that point. I play on PC and don't have more issues than the ones consoles have with the session and DCs and whatnot. What? Let's go ahead and heal. The way I see it is like cities New York City and Los Angeles are viruses and reproduce dummies who depend on their governments too much. The subway system needs a ton of taxpayer money for the subway. Yeah. I've spoken about the issue, so I've spoken about this issue so many times. But you know, we might as well just talk about it one more time. I don't necessarily think you have to get rid of all social programs. You know, he said we have a generous social welfare net, right? That's what he meant. And that means he pays more taxes. I think this can work out as long as the people in your country are productive enough and paying enough taxes. But as soon as you introduce a situation where there's not enough taxes and there's too many people relying on the social welfare nets, you have problems with your country going into debt, and your country going to, you know, borrowing money and printing money. And this isn't good. You can't, you know, it's like this. When you print money and you say something on it like food, let's say you print a $1,000 bill and it says food on it. You didn't actually make food. You just have a piece of paper that claims you have food, right? When you print a piece of paper and it says a home, right? Because that's what apparently that's what the U.S. government's doing right now. It's buying up subprime mortgages from the banks so that the banks don't go bankrupt like they did in 2008. Apparently that's happening. Well, anyways, when you print a piece of paper and you put something like home mortgage on it, you didn't actually pay for a mortgage. You just printed a piece of paper and claimed that you've paid for it. So this is the problem when you have a social program that is too based on what people want it to be rather than how much money is actually being generated in your economy. It's not capable of supporting the demand, the social welfare demand. And so you have to find this balance that is, okay, our country is doing very well financially and we can afford these social programs. But the irony is everybody asks for social welfare programs when they're doing poorly. So there's this kind of irony. There's this, I don't know what the word would be. Maybe irony is not the right word. You run into this, I suppose downward spiral might be the right word. You run into this sort of downward spiral where the time that people start demanding socialism is always when nobody is paying taxes because nobody has any money. See what I'm saying? So it's interesting. You have to be real careful with it. You always want to be not falling into that downward spiral of lots of poor people not really generating any wealth, and then, you know, again, not creating food, not building homes. They don't really do anything. They do work that's not very important, or they just don't work, right? Whatever the case is. And then they all demand for your government to buy them things, and the government says, let's start the money printing machine. Let's start borrowing money from China and, you know, whatever other country. Actually, I understand that China does borrow money to us, or loan money, but it's plenty of other countries do too, so it's not just China. But yeah, that's the whole concept. Like, just bringing in the money doesn't actually create wealth. You have to be productive. You have to build a product. You have to build a service and apply it to something. That's what creates wealth. And so Europe is very often, I feel like whenever we talk with our friends in Europe, they talk very often about the social welfare net and free. There's always this word, free healthcare, free education, like, is super good. But there is no such thing as free. You actually are paying it in some form or another. You pay higher taxes, your government prints money, your government borrows money, and nothing was really produced when they hand things out in the social welfare net. Basically, it's somebody who's poor saying, I can't afford to buy this on my own, so you need to buy it for me. And not everything's you know, when the government spends on people, it's not always an investment. So let's say you actually were to pull out a loan in Europe, not a loan, let's say you were actually to go for an investment in Europe, let's say the UK, and you go to school for let's say a useless psychology degree, and you don't even use the degree. Well, somebody still paid for it. It was you. You paid for it. You paid for somebody else's psychology degree. It was a bad degree that they shouldn't have gone for. It wasn't productive at all, didn't generate any wealth, and then you just pay for their mistake. And this is sort of the difference between, having a society that balances more of the risk of, taking an investment decision, a capitalist decision, on your own as an individual, versus having a social welfare net where really you're asking your government to print money and to tax you. So it's trying to strike a good balance between that. And honestly, I think the way you find the balance, the way you strike it, is you have to know how smart are the people in my country. That's actually, I think, in my opinion, I've thought about this issue a lot. The real tell is how smart and hardworking and honest the people in your country are. Wow, did you see that? That was 1400. This isn't even a damage build. He must have a really bad hit spot on his chest. Oh, did we just stop him from leaving? But that's it. I think if you have a population that is just born smart and beautiful and hardworking and not law-abiding. Oh, I died? Oh, good thing we had feline safeguard. Jesus Christ, man. He's so close to dying, too. I can't believe I died there. But if you have a population that is law-abiding and hardworking and healthy, and I threw in good-looking in there, which sounds funny, but is actually a real asset. Looking good's important. When you look good, people want to have sex with you. That is a real asset. When you look good, you become a Hollywood actor, a movie star. That's real assets right there. So it sounds goofy, but it's a real thing. If you have a population that's super unhealthy and they're criminal and they don't want to work too hard or whatever the case is, if you have that situation, throwing tons of government money at the problem and taxing everyone to take care of those people it's not good for you. It's not good for your country. It's not good for your economy. And so you actually have to gauge who's in your country. Is it a bunch of winners in your country, or do you have a bunch of people who want to kind of soak off of the, quote, social welfare net? Well, really, it's wealth redistribution is what you're talking about. What is it going to be? Are they going to be net tax, what's the word? Are they going to be net tax givers, meaning over their lifetime, even if they do take some from the social welfare net, are they going to overall be givers toward the system, or overall will they be takers from the system? And if you have a lot of takers in your country and a few givers, socialism will not work, and you will need to remove it in order to solve the problem. But the thing is, once you remove it, the people who are sucking off of the system, and believe me, there are people who do that. Some people just need legit a little bit of help. You give them some help, they move on with life, and they're productive, they're good. Plenty of people are not like that, right? Some people really hate that idea. It's not that they hate the idea, but they're just like broken people inside, right? They're just I know this because I had siblings who were unproductive. Some of us were highly productive, some of us were not highly productive. It was just in our nature.
Hey there, Delilah. Don't you worry about the distance.
Oh my God.
Right there if you get lonely, give this song another listen. Close your eyes, listen to my voice. It's my disguise. I am.
Hey there, Delilah. I hated Hey There, Delilah. That was such a gross song. It's like that Have a Nice Day song. But yeah, so being somebody who's productive and a net tax gain for your country is such a critical idea for understanding when socialism works. And socialism works quite well when you gather a large group of net tax gains, and then you apply generous social welfare nets. And if somebody falls out of this, they're going to be a net tax loss. You have the money to help them. But let's say you were to take all of the people who are a net tax loss, put them into an island together, and then implement socialism there. Well, how is the socialism going to work if everyone there is a net tax loss? It will never work. It will just immediately fail. The government will have to print money and borrow money. But the root problem, no products are being made. No services are being made. So always the issue is not how much money can the government afford to tax out of the productive, how much money can the government print. The question is always, or the root is always, how many product are being made and sold, how many services are being made and sold. That is always the root of the problem. Hey there, Delilah, blah, 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 blah. There's the session ID. I hate that song, dude. Trevin says, my father was an immigrant who worked a ton of overtime. His brothers that he sponsored to come over here had a harder time and ended up on welfare. Growing up, my dad pretended we were poor. Interesting. Cookie Cutter says some people take pride in sucking money out of the social net. Exactly. Cookie Cutter, some people turn it into a game where it's them versus the government, and they're like, hey, I can get more from the government, frick the government, you know? They turn it into a game where they want to win against the system and just take as much money as possible. They're extremely toxic. They're like the opposite of altruistic. So you get people who care greatly about the community and they're naturally altruistic. They want to see the community do well. They want to contribute to the community. They want it to be healthy. They want to see good parks. They want to see clean air, all that stuff. This will be kind of like what a lot of the personality traits you will actually find in a liberal. They're like that. They're very sociable. And those are good to have, and generally what it means is they will contribute to the system and they don't mind paying more taxes. And then you get people who are more antisocial, maybe like myself, and we realize, well, I will also contribute to the system as long as the system doesn't have too many, basically, takers, right? So I look around and I recognize people who are takers and I recognize people who are givers, groups, right? And I see when there's too much taking going on, and when I see too much taking, it actually makes me withdraw myself. It makes me go, no way. No way, this is a toxic system. I don't want any of my money to go toward it until it's become, and this is what happens. People start to move around. People start to move around to, whichever country or whichever area they perceive as being more of a giving and still altruistic community. So, and this is in my opinion, this is a very big problem for America. Really huge problem for America right now. So the deeper the divide between the Democrats and the Republicans in America, the less we have in common and the more serious our differences become, the problem you're going to see is lots of intelligent people are simply going to move away. They're going to be like, nope, this is not worth investing in. This is going nowhere good soon. I'm out of here. That's one of the most dangerous things America could have happen to it, because if it's kind of like brain drain in reverse. People are like, oh, why did America do so well? Why is America so wealthy? I honestly just believe you got a lot of the smartest people over here in America making things and being productive, and that was it. And when there's an issue where people start to leave America, especially your smartest people, if your geniuses start to leave America for other countries, let's say Europe, let's say Australia, maybe Canada, when they start to get out of there because things are getting gross in America, is going to be very bad. And it's sort of like a voting with your feet thing. If you're from America, you know that American cities have a problem where basically all the wealthy people left the city, right? And the cities turn into a slum is what happens. Actually, I think London's having a little bit of that itself, is it not? So I think I've heard that London's experiencing this. As crime rates go up in London, people just kind of leave, okay? So the violence goes up, and everyone leaves. If this people think about this in the form of a city, but can you imagine it happening in the form of a country? And I think it definitely can happen to a whole country. The country itself just has to be toxic enough. Chaz says this is pre-recorded. What? We already discussed this. Damn right, my PP is big. Loss of Chads. Yeah, so a lot of the things we talk in the chat time are things I've talked about in the past, but maybe some people have not thought about it or heard about it. We could talk about a different subject. What do you guys want to talk about? Damn, my life is predetermined, says Cheese. Halo Guy says, I'm ready for my Impact Mantle upgrade. Please join my Metal Wraths quest. Looks like I'm already in the All That Glitters is Furious quest. I'm going to Toys R Us just to play Super Nintendo because my dad wouldn't buy one for me, and being chased out by the employees, I don't deserve to be a father unless I can afford consoles. That's right. What? Mary the Biggest, love the presidents, is like recruiting in college football. Some college team just live and die by the recruiting. Well, yeah, exactly. You try to attract the best talent to your college, and if you can't, then your college doesn't do well. Well, countries are kind of like that. If we're the labor force, then simply by moving to another country and paying taxes in a different country, you vote with your feet, and the impact of paying a lifetime of taxes in, let's say, London or England rather than the United States actually has a pretty large impact. And enough people do that, it begins to have a very serious impact on the economy of that country. So America is still a country where people try to move into it, but if that were to change, that would be not a good, it'd be a very tough outcome. James Dice says, how would you raise your child? Well, me and my 3 wives would trade off spending time with the child, and the child would be raised without any education at all. And when the child is old enough, the child would simply benefit. Uh-oh, what's this? Supply box is like frozen. The child would benefit from a generous trust fund, and then he and his 13 brothers and sisters would all become YouTubers. A government is a body of people usually notably ungoverned. Comics, should I sell my collection because of digital age? Favorite all-time game? No Monster Hunter World excluded. I love playing psychological games. Western comic is Doom. Goddamn, I want that thing coming out of the top and entering the bottom again. What? What's your favorite games you played during your childhood? Definitely chess. I was a huge fan of chess. I woke him up with 300 damage. TGE is a champion for Sen. What? Do you have insurance for that thing? What? Don't forget, making it spend a year with the wolves. Oh, right. The child must spend a year with the wolves. And if the child dies in the wilderness, so be it. The government is on its way for that father. Don't do it. Oh, he did it. Look at that, man. He jumped right out of the way. He knew. Doug, whoa, my chat room's screwing up. Who in the heck double frick are you? Can I have a shout out, please? I never got one E4. KQ and ML, KQ and ML. What? I'm Kyle, bro. Tired of politics, government stupidity, and negative issues. All above. Going to bed. See you later, true-sighted. Why are you so negative all the time, man? Somebody asked me that the other day. I'm preparing for my job on Fox News. I became a wolf after this year. What's your favorite color? If it's not red, it's black. Prove it, punch this drywall. Oh man, look at him firing those thunderbolts. Prove it, punch this drywall. So stupid. Cedar, no! Surtur. Grab the glider mantle. Mary has an identity crisis. She is Kyle now. When do you think the next Monster Hunter game will release? Good question. Maybe in a few years. Buy low, sell high, get credit card, get 680, serve tables, establish a lowball Craigslist, end a month, save 20,000, buy house, rent, repeat. What? Do you have pets at home? I have 2 cats. I have 2 cats and a girlfriend. I'm just kidding. What's your thoughts on genetic splicing in the food supply? It's very interesting. I'm totally for new technologies. Of course, everyone is always worried that new technologies will be carcinogenic. And so whenever we work on something new, it should just be very well tested. But then again, it's hard to test something in certain ways. Like, you can't test it when it requires 40 years of testing, you know? Like, how did this affect our bodies in the course of 40 years? So it's a little... I suppose as long as people are well informed, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal. What do you think started the coronavirus? Well, actually, I was watching a bunch of news earlier before I started this stream, and one of the major news networks was talking about how there are once again rumors going around that China may have actually been working on a virus cure in the Wuhan lab, and it actually caused the coronavirus. So I'm curious if other major news networks will be talking about that soon. Viable rarity 10 weapons for someone who just got the guiding lance. If you want a early powerful weapon, Go get your version of the Shara Ishval weapon. Do you think Monster Hunter World can come some point to Switch? It very likely will come to the Nintendo Switch either way, because Capcom will be looking to make as much wealth as they can from their asset, their game asset. Doric, why don't you want to show face? Because I'm so beautiful. I don't know. Should I start an OnlyFans and how should I do the face reveal? You guys give me an idea. I don't want it to be wasted. I don't want it to be wasted whenever we do face reveal. Will it be good if Capcom adds Raging Bracadillos and Furious Rajang to the Guiding Lands? No, because Guiding Lands is the worst thing I've ever played. Guiding Lands is the worst thing in this game. By far. God damn it. Oh, that's gonna hurt. I better get up. He's gonna kill me, man. Oh, I'm glad he didn't run my way. Woo! Oh, I'm KO'd. Hard to say from the two locations, either America or China. What are you talking about? Are you talking about from the virus, the origin of the virus? Are we really going to blame America? Is America did it? America made the virus on purpose. It's all a huge conspiracy. Patreon exclusive face reveal? I don't think I could do that. No, I couldn't do that. I think the OnlyFans would be funny, actually. Face reveal on OnlyFans or no face reveal at all. When are you getting back on Xbox? We just did 2 Xbox streams, dude. I gotta go around. I gotta do the other consoles. We'll give money for face reveal. What if we did a face reveal on this stream, but no other streams ever again? What do you guys think? Do you really think Guiding Lands is the worst thing about Monster Hunter Iceborne, or is... Sorry, it is not even sarcasm. I think the thing that I want to play the least is actually the Guiding Lands. I think the Guiding Lands wears you out in the game far too quickly because it's too grinding. Way too grinding. It damages the fun feeling of playing the game. So they should just... I would just scrap it. If I was Capcom right now, I would just take the Guiding Lands out of the game. Actually makes the game worse. Knee reveal. How's it going, Koifish? He says, love your vids and your voice. Oh, thanks, man. From what I've heard, Corona comes most likely from bats. Coronavirus comes from the United States. It was all a big ploy by the Pentagon. By the feds. Oops. I don't think he meant to do that. Seems like using joystick is harder than using mouse and keyboard. Do you think cross-platform will be coming to Monster Hunter? No, I do not. Do it. Reveal yourself like Shara Ishwalda. We wouldn't know. Think there was a case of a small child getting the virus despite never in China. Oh my god. Woo! Let the conspiracies begin. Would wish if you could get Streamstone gems and so on from investigations. Streamstones. You know what I wish you could get from investigations? Grinding land materials. That'd be nice, so that you wouldn't have to go into the stupid grinding lands. Cameron says, first they blame bats, then they blame America. I feel like if they expanded Guiding Lands and make it somewhat a big open exploration area with lots of monsters, do hunts, plus we got lures and banishing methods. All sarcasm aside, why do people want a face reveal so bad anyways? They want to see my beautiful face, man. They want to know if I'm sexable. That's it. They want to know how hot I am. You guys can rate me hot or not later, okay? I believe it came from cross-species gene mutations from Chinese markets because they have over 10,000 species getting sold at the same time. Oh, cool. You can actually stay on his arm while he's flipping around on that move. That's neat. Hey, so I finished the Sharish Falda quest and just unlocked Guiding Lands. I want to main light bowgun. I was wondering what armor set and light bowgun I should go for the Guiding Lands. Oh man, these questions, man. Hey man, I want to play light bowgun. What set should I? I'm just gonna give you literally every piece of armor. So you're going to want to have the Nargacuga armor set, all right, and you're going to want to have the free element ammo up charm. You're going to want to have spread shot, pierce shot, and normal shot decorations. You will generally need to. Oh, you'll also need to have the Zora Magdaros Master Rank armor set in case you're wanting to build Artillery Secret, which you probably will for sticky ammo. You'll want to have Crit Eye, Crit Boost, Weakness Exploit for shot damage builds. You'll want to have the Elemental Damage charms for Elemental setups. Oh, actually, you'll want to have the... Well, he won't have the Safajiva Siege till later. You'll want to have the Safajiva Siege set up with the Safajiva armor and Safajiva light bowguns for elemental damage as soon as possible. So you can go fight Safajiva right now. You don't even need to necessarily go into the Guiding Lands. And for the sticky ammo, you can go straight to fighting Rei Zhang for the sticky ammo, or you can go fight... Well, that's the heavy bowgun. You need the Safajiva Aqua Shot for sticky ammo. Stormcaster is such a good light bowgun. Try to get that. Stormcaster is literally the worst light bowgun, and anyone who disagrees is big stinky. Gameconomist, don't you think that this whole N-word thing is childish? I mean, how this offend black people? I understand that's considered to be racist, but hey, that's just a word. Yeah, you know, that's a very... it's one of those very, very, very... let me think about it for a minute. Yeah, it's something that frustrates the heck out of me. I don't know if you guys get frustrated by it, but I also get frustrated by it. Basically, anyone who tells me I can't say a word makes me want to say the word twice as much. But then again, it's like society works so hard to punish you for saying a word, you know what I mean? It's almost like there's this hypocrisy that goes on where in America we'll get really mad if you're not allowed to, let's say, draw an image of the Prophet Muhammad from the Islamic religion, but then we have words that you're just totally not allowed to say. You know, you'll lose your job, you'll be destroyed on social media, you get canceled if you say it. So, I don't know what to think about it. It's very hypocritical. How do you feel about people making conspiracy theories trying to link the 5G towers to the coronavirus, even though we already knew that our phones emit small amounts of radiation? What are you talking about? The whole 5G thing is that China... I don't know what you're talking about. This might be a different conspiracy that you're talking about. From what I understand, China wants to establish 5G network and is offering to do this in exchange for supplies with European countries. You're talking about the Democrats. Fierce Rejang has quite a fair number of open options. Why would you want to say the N-word, though? I don't know. Why can't I say the N-word? See? And that's how I think. It's very frustrating to not be able to do a thing, you know, especially when it comes to talking, because you can tell me I'm not allowed to say it, but I can think it. You know what I mean? So, like, when it comes to... we talked about this before. When it comes to actual, like, rights that you're born with, one thing no one can do is control your thoughts. No one can control your thoughts. And so you're in society and they're like, well, this is a word, but you're not allowed to say it. And it's like, okay. And it's mostly because they will use, you know, social media or whatever, or your work or whatever, to remove you from work. I think that the sad part is that all of the pressure around that word actually keeps it relevant forever. So it's like, if you were really just trying to get rid of the word, you would essentially ignore it and not react to it anymore. And this would actually remove all the power of the word. But we focus so much in on the word, and it's so offending, that this reaction level to the word will keep it relevant, and it will keep it something in people's minds forever. You know what I mean? It will keep it in your mind forever. And it's I don't know. It's frustrating. It's silly. A NASCAR racer got canceled from saying the N-word on a live stream because of an online tourney. He used to make $10 million per year. Artemis says, hi, can you do a video for best light bowgun builds for Kulftaroth next week? Sure, I can do that. I already did. I got a bolt shot video for light bowgun on my channel right now. He got fired and banned indefinitely from everything. If rappers didn't use it, so many people wouldn't know about it, says George Gosson. Well, yeah, and that's part of the irony as well, or the hypocrisy as well. So they use it all the time, and then you're not supposed to use it because you'll lose your job, which is pretty significant. PewDiePie used it maybe famously or infamously in one of his live streams, and that was a huge deal. And I don't know, the fact that you're not allowed to say it, it is like I put it in the same category as not being allowed to draw a picture of Muhammad. It's like if you're okay with people telling you how to talk, and you're okay telling people you're not free to do what you want. But if enough of a mob gets up and says we will punish you for it, then there you go, mob rules, I guess, or something. I don't know. I consider myself smart enough to realize that words don't matter. So if you were to call me like an offensive term, whatever the equivalent of the N word for white people is, I don't know what that is. But if you were to call me that term, I wouldn't react to it, which is exactly probably why there really isn't a word like that for white people. Like if you were to use the word cracker, you're not going to get in trouble for that. It just won't happen. You're not going to get in trouble for that. And the reason why is because that word has no power over white people. It doesn't work on them. They go, okay, well, whatever, right? Or there's probably other offensive words. I can't think of them, but it doesn't work on them. So it's weird. I almost feel like the hyper obsession over the word, being so offended by it, is part of the reason why it's never going to go away. And when you no longer find the word as offensive, when you give up your anger around the word, it will go away on its own because people won't use it anymore because it won't give you the reaction that you want. It's almost like you keep the word alive. Papa John used the N word and got shadow canceled. Did he actually use the word? I can't remember. He had an interview. I don't think he actually used the word, right? He just said he didn't want to use the word or something like that. I don't remember. C. Johnson said there's no equivalent in N word for white people. Well, and it's not like there's no opportunity for there to be a truly offensive word for white people, but it's just white people have not gotten offended by a word. You know what I mean? So it's like if you were to use some extremely derogatory word toward me, ooh, you're a gross person with pale skin, right? It'd be like, all right, you're a weirdo. And then that would be the end of it. It just wouldn't work any further than that. Right. Emmanuel, I'm sorry, Umel Kaiser says, well, we Germans are called Nazis when there's no reason for it. Well, exactly. And I honestly don't think that, well, consider it right now. You can say Nazi all you want. It's not a banned word, and you're not going to get fired from your job for saying Nazi. So I feel like because the reaction to the word is much lower, uh, it's not as effective as a weapon or as a tool in our language and in our conversation, communication. It's the fact that we react so negatively to the N word that it remains it remains relevant, and it'll always be relevant as long as we react that way. Move over here. Hymn of the Moon and the Sun. Classy says, I'm Italian and have been called many Italian slurs. I do nothing and I don't care. Sure. See, and that's what I say. So it's like if you don't react to it, then they're not going to keep using the word, or it's just not going to become this weird banned word. It's almost like if you were a troll, okay, and your job is to upset people, and if you can manage to get a word banned, it's actually a sign that you've successfully trolled them. They haven't won, you've gotten them to ban a word. You see what I'm saying? So the trolls win. That's how it feels, basically. That's how it feels from my point of view. The trolls basically have won. Najmul says, people get triggered by words that they would take personally. Everyone has words or things people would say that would find super insulting. Yeah, no, you can call me anything you want. It's just never going to work because I understand how trolling works, right? So the point of the troll wins power over you if he can offend you so badly that you react and say, I'm banning the thing that the troll likes to do. You see what I'm saying? You're not even allowed to say the word. Nobody's allowed to say the word. The troll wins. That's how trolls operate. When they want to upset you, they will try to find something that gets you really angry, and that's the whole point of it. And if you ban the thing, it means that they've been successful. That's what I'm saying. Karen is for white women. Jay Rizzle says, dude, I would love if armors and weapons would get stupid good for more powerful monsters to drop so they can be real OP. People call me Japanese because they think I'm fat, says Froggy Things. I'm sorry, Froggy. I hop in as a black guy and hear discussion about the N-word. What a great way to start the morning. Jay Rizzle says, so for Tempered Namiel, upgrade Coral Highland. Dummahawk says, do you think Dante's Charge Blade is a decent Charge Blade? Probably not, no. Auditor says, try Moon and Sun solo, but wait for the Rathalos to show up before engaging in a fight is so intense and awesome. Bad Touch says, it is good to hear a voice of reason. George says, people that get offended love trolls. They're nothing without them. Trolls can be annoying. Hör bitte auf, im Internet eine Gruppe von Menschen falsch zu I don't know how to say that one. Repräsentieren? Yeah, I have no idea how that's pronounced. He's like doing German. I sold all my Kulturoth gear to free up space literally the day before Master Rank Kulturoth was announced. Oops. Oh man, I better get rid of this Cove gear. Come on, come on, come on. Nice. What's my cat doing? My cat's chewing on some plastic behind me. My cat's crazy. Oh my gosh, I was looking at my cat and not aiming the greatsword at all. Do you see a limit of freedom of speech? Well, yeah, there's tons of limits to freedom of speech. We have this concept of freedom of speech, but you're not free to actually say whatever you want. So, like, if you were at a restaurant and there was a, like a fat older lady, you can't call her a ugly fat hag because you'll get kicked out of the restaurant. Grab this guy by the tail. Do you play Dota? I do not play Dota. If I ever have a restaurant, I will put a sign that says, no service for Karens. The Karen in the USA will die. Oh my god. Do you think that because there is no word for white people that carries the same amount of offense, you can't understand their perspective? Well, I think that's very often what people says is, you just can't know because, you don't live in my shoes. And I kind of understand that argument. I don't know if I fully agree with it. I think that humans are very good at understanding abstract ideas, especially when it comes to like fairness and justice. So this idea that you just wouldn't know, it's like, well, I can imagine it though. Humans are very good at imagining things. Maybe you're trying to say like, oh, well, you don't have the same emotional response to things. Well, when you're having maybe like a conversation that involves maybe like a whole bunch of logic and maybe like philosophical ideas, you don't always get a lot of emotions involved in the first place because you're trying to answer a difficult question, not just an emotional question. Like when you set down a law or a rule, it's not necessarily all just emotion based. Here's the rule, and why do we have this rule? Because it makes me feel good to have this rule. Oh, and she's mad. I wish we'll see Gore Magala. Chris, I agree, but sadly a large amount of white people could never or bother to understand the other perspective. There's a difference between trolling and insulting, though, don't you think? I'm sure there's something you would find insulting. You might have the patience not to react the way they want. Well, yeah, there's, there's probably, for each person, there's probably a word that is most insulting for them, because what it does is it, usually goes after their sense of, maybe like their sense of confidence, maybe it makes them feel insecure, right? And so that's why it's especially frustrating for them. Maybe it has a little bit of truth to it, right? That's usually, when you want to insult somebody, try to go after something that's a little bit true. So if a girl's out of shape and you say you're ugly because you're fat, it's going to be extra offensive to her because, well, she's a little chub, right? So there's all kinds of ways to think about what word is most offensive. It's just that when you actually allow a word to be so offending to you that you literally just ban it, I think that it ironically keeps the word protected from ever going out of use. Oh nice, did we kill her? It ironically protects the word from being forgotten about, right? There's probably plenty of insults that have been forgotten over time. The N-word was historic. White people don't carry that. You can offend anyone if you find out what their morals and values are. Captain says, I wish we could get Misazune in World. We're never going to get Misazune. What do you think about the fact that there is a community that play Monster GU and play World? Is there? Zero says, did you ever face depression before and how did you overcome it? Yeah, I've faced probably a whole lot of depression, I would say. In fact, I would probably argue I've faced more than the average person because I've had a lot of hardships. And when you're depressed, is a very tricky thing. When you have like a mental issue going on, one of the biggest problems is that you often don't have a lot of control over the mental issue, because if you had control over it, it wouldn't really be a mental issue at that point, would it? So depression is tricky because it comes in like a drug, like alcohol, feeling drunk. It comes in like a drug, and it makes you feel like there's no good future for you. Actually, one of the biggest problems with depression is that it's very painful. And sometimes depression is so painful, it makes you sort of withdraw. And so you're having a lot of emotional pain, but you also can't ask for help. So it's kind of like a trap in that way. So it's kind of like a trap, or again, kind of like a downward spiral. It just keeps itself going down. So depression is real tricky. In my personal experience, what's most important is probably for you to go to sleep and then to wake up and have some caffeine, maybe a little bit of sugar. It's almost like self-medicating. Listen to some good music, get physically active, because if you can kind of game your body, if you want to say that, if you can kind of trick your body into feeling a little bit better, this will help you gain more sort of like mental control over what's happening, right? So I'm referring to depression as almost like a drug. It's kind of and a bad drug, right? Again, like being drunk, you don't have a lot of control over it. But when you have eaten a good meal and you've had good sleep, whatever it is you need to do to feel physically good, see what I'm saying? If you need to go out and have some great sex or something crazy like that, right? Whatever it is, go out and do something physical. And I don't know if this is true for girls. I don't know if it would work the same way for them, but I think this would work a lot for guys. So do all the physical things you need to do to feel good, and then try to, also you need to be very aware of what's going on. So like when you're young, you don't always know that the reason you feel so terrible could be kind of like categorized even as this thing known as depression. You don't understand things like that, labels. We try to bring awareness to it, but it's like you don't always realize when it's going on, because especially, I don't know, again, I don't know for girls, but for boys, depression often sort of reveals itself not as sadness, like, oh, I need a teardrop. It doesn't reveal itself as sadness. It actually reveals itself as anger and frustration. Anger and frustration. So you think from like Hollywood and from the news and from the way people talk about it, that depression is this youth, feeling sad and needing to cry and cuddle up with a pillow. Oh, I don't feel like doing anything. No, actually, depression can be anger and frustration. So being aware of what it really feels like is really important. And the reason it's like anger and frustration is because the source of depression, again, is sort of besides possibly being a lack of chemical needs being met. For example, maybe you just haven't eaten well in a long time. Maybe you haven't eaten well in a long time, felt a sense of security in a long time, and haven't had even sex. Believe it or not, I think that if you don't have sex for a long time, as a man, you will get depressed. So you kind of have to have sex at some point. And especially for guys who don't have any sex at all, that's actually a very serious issue. I think that it will give any guy depression and anxiety. Well, anyways, so those are the physical things, and again, I think that depression doesn't always come out as a depression of sadness and crying all the time in men. It comes out as a sort of a toxic behavior, even people who want to troll others, be mean to others, right? Get back at others, win a fight. That's another one. So if you're trying to like win a fight, you might be depressed actually, trying to prove yourself, trying to take someone else down a notch or two, right? Trying to beat them up. All signs of depression, in my opinion. Depression, maybe low self-esteem can get mixed in there. If you have depression, there's often a lot of things going on. Generally, you have a sense of insecurity about life. Maybe you don't have any money. Maybe you don't have a clear path to the future. Maybe you're aware that there is a clear path, but the clear path is actually really difficult, and you're aware of what you have to sacrifice in order to reach a point in life where things are going to be good, and you're just kind of mentally bracing for it. You're like, oh man, here we go. You know what I mean? It's like having to take a test at school gives people anxiety. well, they still go and take it because they have to go graduate before they get their degree and get their job. So, but it still gives them anxiety. Well, so things in life that you have to do can give you depression. Probably going to the doctor can give you depression. Like, oh man. So, but anyways, yeah. My biggest concern is people who are not very good at self-evaluating. So people who are not very clever at being very introspective and measuring what's going on in their head without kind of being an impartial third-party observer of themselves. This is a very tricky thing to do because when you're mentally evaluating yourself, you're usually evaluating yourself already through this sort of depression lens, right? So you already have depression and you only think of yourself through that lens. So, but being able to have strong skills and introspection, self-evaluation, allows you to stop and go, yeah, am I evaluating myself correctly, or do I have depression, and do I need to actually medicate for it? So it's a tricky thing, and I feel that maybe people who are not that clever actually struggle with it more than others. They need somebody, they need somebody to help them out with it a little bit. Another problem with depression is that other people don't take it seriously, so it's very frustrating when you finally muster up courage to talk about it and nobody cares. Well, and that could give you depression. This is getting deep. Do you think Behemoth will come to Master Rank? Probably not. I don't know many racist Chinese people. I feel the guiding land should have guiding monsters. I feel the guiding land should be tossed out of the game. And you should go back to the older system of stream stones for augmentation. Like, I've figured out the new method of augmentation at this point. I have a good grasp of it at this point. Still don't like it. I came here to escape my depression, not evaluate it. There's a way to use your Palico trap between the first sequence of punches. What is GE? If you ask your Palico to put Thunderbug traps before last wave, Brodo says, would you recommend the older games? At this point, probably not. No, I wouldn't, because the older games, there's probably a few like obscure, easy monsters that you've never fought who are actually just very close to clones of the monsters you have fought. And then there's a few like endgame monsters that people get super hyped for, but I roughly played them and I didn't think that they were amazing. For example, I actually did fight and defeat Elatrion in Monster Hunter GU. It was okay. And I'm actually concerned that when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne, it will just be a clone of the GU version with better graphics and hopefully a little more complicated. Do you think Monster Hunter will get another DLC? They said that they will not do any more not title updates. There will not be another expansion, so no. I live in Canada, so maybe it's different culture here, but mental health is taken super seriously here. Well, yeah, and the problem is, I get, as somebody who actually had a lot of depression, I get a little annoyed when people who do not seem to actually have depression get all super, like, overly sensitive over depression. They're like, oh, you've got depression, I've got depression, we've all got depression. They talk about it, and then there will actually be somebody who has depression, and you completely missed him because labeling yourself as depressed has become like a new game, almost like a form of narcissistically bolstering yourself up and being like, oh, I don't suck at work, I'm just depressed. It's like, no, actually, you suck at work. You need to work harder. See, so there's all this. This is why I don't like labels. You take a label and you manipulate it for your own use, and there are people who have actual depression, and to help them is tricky because often the person who is best at helping them is in my opinion, themselves. So they need to actually realize they have to be kind of aware of what's going on, and they have to go seek treatment, or they kind of have to start medicating themselves, right? But in social media and in maybe just common general society, which I'm depressed, you're depressed, we're all depressed. That's kind of the language we use now. You have hyperactive disorder, ADHD, you have this, you have that, you have anxiety, you have social anxiety. We have so many freaking labels, man, that you begin to build an identity around the label rather than just seeing life as a sort of ebb and flow of like sort of challenges that you have to overcome, and you have to grow up, and these are all part of growing up, right? Like I was talking earlier about how you can just get depressed over realizing that life is difficult. You don't need to see a doctor for that. You just need to, reach a point where you're accepting that life is hard and that eventually you die and all your loved ones die. And eventually you do figure that out. You just kind of go, okay, well, that's how it is. And you get past it at some point. Maybe you get bored of it. I think getting bored of things helps. You get bored of feeling bad. So, yes, it's interesting. I hate the whole identity we like to build these days around having some sort of quote mental problem. It's like it's silly. It's silly. It's silly. I'm gonna go ahead and start another one. I'm gonna start another one. I have depression. You have depression. We all have depression. For a newcomer to Monster Hunter World, do you think it is worth it to buy Iceborne? Sure, Kevin. There's a lot of content in Iceborne. What are your thoughts about? What are your thoughts on the way the president is handling the pandemic? That's a good question. They put out a stimulus, so I guess that's good. People died to the virus just like the experts said they would. It spread literally across the entire world. It's not just the United States, literally the entire world. The death rates in America have not been so bad. I think it's been worse in Italy and Spain. I don't know. Let's remove him from office now. God, Donald Trump personally killed people with coronavirus. He did it. What do you think about sexuality? Sexuality is a thing in your brain that nature gave you so that you could make babies. And if you didn't have that thing in your brain, you would not have babies. And so you would fall quickly out of the gene pool. You would quickly fall out of the gene pool. Actually, you know, it's funny. People who are homosexual and transsexual, often I wonder if maybe they have like a larger sex drive than usual. Because I noticed that they have a like almost like a hyper focus on their sexual identity. And it makes me wonder if maybe they're just extra horny or something. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. It's just something I've noticed over a long period of time. Life just makes you a machine. That's depressing. Then people just accept others don't, which is the reason why we have to help us live longer and entertainment. Oh, you love entertainment? All right, I got all the entertainment. Don't get GE started on politics. Rump the Trump. I kind of agree. I don't like the conforming to labels. I just want to be me. Exactly. Exactly. So if you have depression, I feel like the people who most need help with depression are the people who don't know they have it. Those are the people who most need it. And a bunch of people who don't have depression running around claiming they have depression does not help that person. Because it just makes it more confusing to understand it. TGE, my cousin and several friends were depressed and committed suicide because no one would listen and help them. Sorry to hear that, Jennifer. That is awful. My cousin and several friends. Wow, that's a lot of people. AB says, you think they're going to add more monsters after Elytrion? Very likely there will be one more monster, in my opinion. One more title update after Elytrion. My cousin and several friends were depressed. Several friends? Like three?
Ready to go.
My uncle committed suicide. Yeah, I remember that. But I was real young. It shocked everyone. Yeah, I had an uncle who committed suicide. You think they're going to add more monsters? Oh, I already read that one. Oh, he's down here. And we're going to go this way. What? No more comments? 4 friends. Whew. That is a lot of suicide. Robert says, what's with the depressive talk? Just, this is chat time. You guys can talk to me about any subject. And people started talking about depression. So that's what we're talking about now. You can change the subject if you want. Ask me what I think about the, I don't know, the carpet matching the drapes. It's unnerving. It is a problem. What do you think will happen in the next Monster Hunter game? I think in the next Monster Hunter game, we will probably have 14 weapon classes, and we will hunt a variety of different monsters. Probably Fatalis. Fatalis is like the Bowser of Monster Hunter. Sometimes suicide seems like a good option when you're in such a bad place, you can't see a way out. Yeah, you know, again, I see people who have depression as like almost people who are like drunk. They're drugged up, they're not making competent choices, and a lot of it's because their brain's just not operating correctly. Dude. And it can be hard to realize that, you know what I mean? I actually used the pods for once. Aw, man. Ah, they didn't do any damage. Suicide might seem good, but at the same time, things will always get better, so there's always a reason to live. Alright guys, time for me to make a counter argument to that. Why you should commit suicide by the Game Economist. Life's not worth living. I actually had to take a class, abnormal psychology, and they found that men committed suicide more often than women, even though women had more cases of depression. And the reason why the men were more likely to actually commit suicide is because they would be more successful with self-harm. So girls would they'd just feel depressed and maybe they would cut or something like that, but men would they go grab a shotgun and they're like, alright, time to blow my head off. Just another thing men are better at than women. Gotcha, ladies. Anything you can do, I can do better. TGC, have you played any FPS games other than Destiny? Yeah, I've played all of them, really. I've played Battlefield, I've played Call of Duty, I've played Halo, which is a game that people used to care about, but they don't anymore, and Microsoft's not doing anything about it. I'm trying to think what else. Just literally any game that has FPS, I've probably played it. I haven't played Rainbow Siege, and I haven't played Counter-Strike, which apparently are really popular. Did you hear about the underwater UFO spotted from Mexican military? Oh my god, I'm so tired of hearing the UFO this, UFO that. It never turns into anything. When a little green man steps out of a, flying saucer and says, "Hi, I'm an alien," I will finally care about UFOs. I will finally care. Bo Burnham did a good song on suicide. You should hear it. I probably never will. Robert says, I hope they change the final boss formula in the next Monster Hunter game. Tired of extra large monsters. Go with the gore formula. I've had a neighbor that was like a father to me commit suicide. A friend in my high school committed suicide. A couple more friends attempted suicide. Oh, you know what? You guys are actually reminding me. One of my girlfriends had a cousin that tried to commit suicide by eating a bunch of pills. I forgot about that. Because that was a long time ago. That was back when I was like 19 years old. In Germany, men are way more likely to have depression than women. Well, that's because you're all cut. No, I'm just kidding. Hey GE, what do you think about people keep complaining about how the new FF7R being different from the original one? Is it just me who appreciates such change? I never played Final Fantasy VII, and I do not give two flips about the remake. I'm just being goofy. I have no idea. I have no way to relate to you on the issue just because I've never played it. What if he isn't little or green? Okay, well if he's big and green, we need to immediately eliminate him because he's a threat. Especially if he's coming after our women. Boy, you stay away from our women. People that commit suicide are weak and only think about themselves. Let's punish them. Punish the weak. Weak. No, I don't actually agree with that at all, Pizzazi. Oftentimes it's not done, it's not a social decision, basically, right? Like, so when you're getting ready to commit, there's probably some people who make a decision on it, maybe from a social point of view, and they leave a little note behind and all that, but very often suicide's committed because you're in an enormous amount of emotional pain, and then basically you can't take it anymore. It's kind of like, have you ever had a bad toothache and you're like, I'm just going to pull this tooth out? It's kind of like that. That's what I think, that the majority of successful suicides are probably just like that. They're not like, this'll teach her. This'll teach her to tell me to brush my teeth, right? This'll show mom. What if he's here to take our gerbs? I read somewhere that women more often than men don't want to create mess, killing themselves, and be problems, so they don't choose effective methods. Really? They don't want to create a mess? I don't want to be remembered as messy. Which weapon would be better for Culture Rock? Whichever weapon you want to use, just not the lance, okay? Asking again, have you tried to capture Brachydios? Now, I know you can do it, but since it fails the quest, I have no interest. They ain't weak. They are selfish because they don't think about their loved ones' feelings. Is this a beating up on people who committed suicide stream now? What happened? Do you mind showing us this greatsword build? Here it is. This is the greatsword build. It's my super duper defensive greatsword build that lets me play without looking at the screen. Well, people who do not experience real oppression will never understand those who commit suicide. Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if you're judging people who committed suicide, is because you've never been close enough to killing yourself, even though maybe you think you've been that close. But you're still alive today, buddy. You're still alive right now. Prove it. Prove that you know. Bracky is probably easier to capture than to kill. Each and every day, TGE dies a little on the inside when Lance doesn't get buffed. That's right. Someday Lance will get buffed, and I just want you guys to remember all of the trolling I did on the Lance. Pazzazi says, life is about overcoming pain. That is what life is about. Convenient to take the easy way out. Oh my god. Wow, what are you, a beta male? Committing suicide? Freaking betas? Hey the GC, my school decided to do online school, but they said grades will not go down. Do you think this is a good idea? What do they mean by grades will not go down? I think that a lot of schools are going to be doing online school, so... Boop! Thoughts on the dude? Hunting horn's still okay, I'd say. I would like to see a buff for the hunting horn as well. I don't want the hunting horn to just be like an attack up large weapon, because that's what it is a weapon that gives out attack up large, which is basically like using a demon drug. And so people are like, yeah, but hunting horn's pretty good. Well, solo it's not that good, actually. Solo is clearly lower damage than the other weapons. And then your primary argument that is good is that you bring it into multiplayer and use attack extra large, which again is just an argument that says my weapon is like worse than your weapon, but hey, at least it gives out demon drug to everyone, or demon powder to everyone. So it's kind of frustrating. I wouldn't mind it if they just gave us some really powerful horns that also had cool buffs that weren't attack up extra large. I'm so tired of doing this. I'm tired when I use the horn. I'm so tired of using self-improvement. It's such a boring buff. It really is. Self-improvement buff is just like this chore that you have to do when you use the weapon. Name one other weapon where before you get to use it, you have a chore. None. It's the only one. You have to do a chore to use the hunting horn. You have to put on the horn maestro, which they should get rid of that immediately. Horn maestro should not exist. Your horn should just have the buff duration of horn maestro. That should just be how it works, right? And then having to use self-improvement buff is super stupid. And attack up extra large is obviously going to dominate the skills that anyone is going to want. They should get rid of attack up large so that none of the hunting horns run on it, and simply just give all the horns a damage buff so that they do about the damage of a hammer. And then they can still give the hunting horns really cool buffs like, who knows, like divine protection or earplugs large, stuff like that, right? So you'll be doing as much damage as a hammer, but you have a different moveset and you give out earplugs large. Or actually, I think the impact echo waves were a really great improvement. They're really a step in the right direction. Insect glaive. Oh, you're right. Insect glaive, gathering the kinsect extracts can feel a little bit like a chore. You're right. Richard says, does hunting horn have a clutch claw attack? No, but it does have clutch claw. Hernan Zep says, if you do the work they give you, you can increase your grade, but it'll never go down if you do bad. What? You have to buff with Insect Glaive. Will there be another weapon in the new Monster Hunter? Nobody knows. Hold on. Let me call my representative at Capcom. Bring. Hey, man. This guy named Geld Butel, he wants to know if there will be a 15th and 16th weapon class in Monster Hunter. Oh, there will be? Okay, thanks, man. All right, that's close. Hey, man, he said there would be one. Isn't that amazing? I called him up just for you, and he said yes. I was calling Ryozo. General Knife says, gives you more movement speed, and you can upgrade buffs. Yeah, so they should just make it so that by default the hunting horn's already working that way. Permanent self-improvement. If hunting horn gets the damage of a hammer, then why would anyone use the hammer? Because they're two very different weapons. For example, why do some people use switch axe and some people use the longsword? They do roughly the same damage. See? Doesn't matter. So the hunting horn should be doing as much damage as the hammer. There's no excuse. Can you show the session ID? Actually, we're going to wrap things up here. We're at 2.5 hours. What's the best way to build Sophy weapons? I just got back and don't know what the best upgrades. I mainly use Insect Glaive. Go for the Blast Insect Glaive and then go for 4 levels of attack and 1 level of sharpness. Okay. We should get the Tonfa. The hammer would be a slower weapon. What do you think they can do with lances for a buff? Increase the raw damage on the lance. Honestly, hope there are more non-dragon dino monsters. Just change from being hammer main to greatsword. Really enjoying it. Well, greatsword out damages the hammer, actually. I want hunting horn buffs. Me too. I do too. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the live stream. I had fun talking about all our conversations. Get a wave. We'll get Master Rank Kulf Taroth soon enough, and when she comes out, I will be farming her with all of you guys. In the meantime, I will probably keep having these chat time streams because there's nothing else to do. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.